Have you ever felt like you're literally fighting a battle against yourself? Well, you're not alone. That's the willpower struggle, and figuring out how to win it is pretty much key to a better life. So today, we're diving deep into the science of self-control, all guided by the amazing work of Stanford psychologist Kelly McGonigal.
Oh man, we have all been here. You know the feeling, right? That cookie, it represents every single temptation, every distraction, every single time we put something off. This one little moment is the classic willpower challenge, and how we deal with it tells a really fascinating story about what's actually going on inside our brains. Okay, first things first, we need to completely reframe this whole idea. Giving in and eating the cookie doesn't make you a bad or weak person. This isn't about morality or being virtuous. As we're about to find out, it's all about biology. It's about understanding the programming that we all share.
So McGonigal breaks willpower down into three distinct forces. You've got your I won't power. That's what stops you from eating the cookie. Then there's I will power, which is what gets you up to go to the gym even when you don't feel like it. And maybe the most important one of all is your I want power. That's the big picture voice that reminds you why you're doing all this. To be healthy, to feel good, to live a better life.
This quote right here just frames that internal struggle perfectly. It's not one unified mind. It's more like we have two competing versions of ourselves living inside one brain, and they're constantly battling for control.
And here are the two players in action. You've got your impulsive self. It lives in the oldest part of our brain, the limbic system, and all it cares about is what feels good right now. It's screaming, eat the cookie. But then you have your wise self, which is powered by your more evolved prefrontal cortex. It's trying to play the long game. And yep, every single willpower challenge is basically a showdown between these two.
Okay, this leads us to maybe the most powerful analogy for self-control there is. Start thinking of your willpower as a muscle. Seriously, this one simple idea explains exactly why it fails us sometimes, and even better, it gives us a clear path to making it way, way stronger. This insight comes from a researcher named Roy Baumeister, and it was a total game changer. He basically showed that willpower isn't some bottomless well. Every single time you make a decision, resist an urge, or force yourself to focus, you're using up a little bit of it. And this explains so much, right? It's why you can be a productivity saint at 9 a.m., but by 9 p.m. you're eating ice cream straight out of the carton. Your willpower muscle is just plain exhausted from a full day of flexing. You've literally run out of strength.
But, and this is a huge but, here's the amazing news. Just like lifting weights at the gym, using your willpower muscle actually strengthens it over time. Even on tiny, silly things like deciding to fix your posture or using your non-dominant hand to open a door. Those little reps build it up for the big challenges.
But just like any muscle, willpower can get injured. It can get overworked. And if we want to protect it, we have to know what its greatest enemy is. And without a doubt, that enemy is stress. Nothing, and I mean nothing, drains your self-control faster. Here's why. Biologically, these two states are like oil and water. They just don't mix. Stress triggers your ancient fight or flight response, and it hijacks all your body's energy for survival right now. But self-control, it relies on what's called a pause and plan response, which sends that exact same energy to your prefrontal cortex for smart long-term decisions. You literally can't do both at the same time. So, if willpower is a trainable muscle and stress is its kryptonite, how do we actually go about training it? Well, the science points to two incredibly powerful and honestly surprisingly simple strategies for building up our mental strength. Okay, strategy number one is meditation. And we're not talking about some abstract mystical practice here. We're talking about something that physically changes your brain. Regular practice literally strengthens the parts of your brain responsible for focus, for impulse control, and for self-awareness, all the building blocks of willpower. And these aren't just vague ideas. These benefits are scientifically proven. We're talking better attention, so you can actually stay on task, better stress management, which protects your willpower reserves, stronger impulse control, so yeah, you're less likely to give in to that cookie. And maybe the wildest one, it leads to more self-awareness and actually builds more gray matter in your prefrontal cortex. You are literally upgrading the hardware for your wise self. And if meditation is the mental workout, then exercise is the physical one, with some seriously profound mental benefits. Its effects on your willpower are both immediate, like reducing cravings right after a workout, and long-term.
So the big takeaway here is that both of these things, meditation and exercise, they directly strengthen the biological hardware for your willpower. They aren't just nice ideas, they are evidence-based, scientifically proven methods for upgrading your brain.
Okay, long-term training is absolutely essential. But what about when that cookie is staring you in the face right now? You need a quick fix. Luckily, science has a few of those up its sleeve too.
This little technique is basically a manual override for your nervous system. By slowing down your breath, you're physically telling your body to switch gears, to get out of that impulsive fight or flight state and into that wise pause and plan state. It's a physiological trick that gives your wise self a fighting chance to be heard.
Now, this next one might be the most counterintuitive discovery of them all. When you slip up, what do we usually do? We beat ourselves up, right? It feels like the right thing to do. But the research consistently shows that self-criticism actually kills your motivation and makes your willpower even weaker. It's self-compassion, forgiving yourself, and then figuring out how to get back on track that actually rebuilds your strength.
So, after all of this, the biology, the muscle analogy, the training tactics, what is the single most important idea to take away from all this? Well, it all comes down to one fundamental skill. And this brings us to the final and most crucial point. Real willpower isn't about brute force. It's not about gritting your teeth. It's about paying attention. It's having the self-awareness to just notice when you're at a crossroads, to recognize that those two competing selves are there, and to consciously choose the path that lines up with your deeper I want power.
Ultimately, you don't have to transform your whole life overnight. That's not the goal. The journey to stronger willpower starts with just a single conscious choice. So, what's yours going to be?